Yes, welcome back. Welcome back to Brand Institute of Forensics and Security. This is Mr. Wayne. We are talking about fire safety protection. We are going today to talk about fire incident command system. Fire incident command system. Remember, we have two lessons left, this one and lesson number 11. And our chief administrator informed me that today is the last weekend of presentations. So we have to do this two today. So you will excuse me today because I'll be very fast. I'll just go through the topics, the headlines very fast. Within 15 minutes or 20 minutes, we should finish this one, and then we do the other one. So to start off, when we talk about fire incident command system, we are talking of a situation where now we are responding to a fire emergency, that things have gotten out of hand. All the protective measures we put in place have failed. The people have failed. Now there is fire. Fire is ongoing and we are responding to the emergency. And there are things we need to consider under fire incident command system. Then for introduction, we shall say emergencies, large or small, have one person who assumes command. So in all emergencies, large or small, there must be one person who assumes command. This presentation examines the system and the operation of the system. It examines the history of the concept incident command, the elements of incident command, the business management techniques applied to incident command, the factors that affect the emergency management, and the components of an incident command or management system. So this presentation examines these areas. Sorry. Introduction to incident command system. At any emergency, whether large or small, one person must assume the command. We have already said this. Assess the situation and available resources, determine all appropriate action plans, monitor the plans effectively, and continually modify the plan to meet the reality of the emergency. So at any emergency, there should be one person who assumes command, and that person is the person we call the incident commander. This is done by the incident commander. The incident commander system encompasses the command function, the control of procedures, and communication throughout the emergency period. The incident command system can expand or contract it whenever necessary. The expansion of an incident command can encompass an information officer, a liaison officer, and a safety officer. It can encompass information officer, a liaison officer, and a safety officer. The four officers are referred to as the command staff. Any further expansion is referred to as the general staff. Remember, when the emergency services are responding to an emergency, or when the fire brigade is responding to an emergency, then this system is put in place, and the people who respond may include an information officer, may include a liaison officer, may include a safety officer, and also other general staff. Remember, in all organizations, if you are ever find yourself in the position of a security manager, there must be a fire team, fire emergency team. This is the initial team that responds to the situation before emergency services arrive. There must be a fire team, and it is the responsibility of the security manager to formulate, to bring together the fire team and to train them on actions to take, mainly responding to the fire incident, evacuating people, that is moving them from risk zones to safer zones, conducting head count to ensure who is present and who is not present, conducting follow-up investigation, what happened, communicating with emergency agencies, etc. So each area, each facility must have a fire team. And the fire team is usually divided into several sections. There is the red team within the fire team. There's the green team and there is the yellow team, or other names that you may use. The purpose is that, for example, the red team will have the responsibility of responding to the fire. The green team will have the responsibility of ensuring access is free, people are moving to the assembly point. The yellow team will be involved in maybe rescue operations, search and rescue operations. So remember that if you ever find yourself in the position of a security manager, there must be a fire team where you are working. Now, the terms and titles used in the incident management system organizational hierarchy are defined as below. Command or incident commander. This is the person in overall command of an incident, is the incident commander. The person in overall command of an incident is the incident commander. The incident commander is ultimately responsible for all incident activities, including the development and the implementation of a strategic plan. This process may include making of critical decisions and being responsible for the results of those decisions. The incident commander has the authority to call resources to the incident and to release them from it if the size and the complexity of the incident require it. The incident commander may delegate authority for various duties to others who, together with the incident commander, form the command staff. So the incident commander may delegate responsibilities to others, and then together they are referred to as the command staff. The command staff. The command staff is made up of the incident commander, the information officer, the safety officer, and the liaison officer. The information officer is appointed when an incident occurs. He or she is designated when an incident has highly visibility or it's sensitive in nature. The media capability to acquire their own information is when the media capability to acquire their own information is increasing. There is a risk to multiple sources releasing information. There is need to alert one and instruct the public. The information officer is very important during any incident. You know, in this age things happen very fast, and even when there is an incident, people are taking photos, people are taking videos and sending to each other through WhatsApp, through other social media apps. People are sourcing for information, especially the journalists. They are very sensitive. When there is an incident, they need information. And if they get wrong information, then the damage that can be done is too high. So the information officer is the one who is responsible for communicating with media or third parties. And in most organizations, there is always one person appointed for this role in advance, either from the general manager's office or from the sales and marketing department. So there must be an information officer. The safety officer is appointed when there are special or unusual risks to responders or the public that require expertise to ensure their safety. The most common emergencies in which the safety officer is appointed is hazardous material emergencies or in complicated search and rescue operations. The safety officer corrects unsafe situations by working through the chain of command. He exercises authority to directly stop the unsafe acts if the personnel are in imminent life-threatening danger. So the safety officer also has to be appointed, and he has to ensure that he exercises authority to directly stop unsafe acts if personnel are in imminent danger or life-threatening situation. So mainly the safety officer will assess the situation and make decisions and communicate accordingly what should be done and what should not be done. Of these three, the position of safety officer is implemented most commonly. A safety officer should be appointed to monitor activities at incidents that are involved with life safety hazardous situations. The incident safety officer plays a vital role in the incident management system. The incident safety officer must have the authority from the chief of the organizations to immediately suspend, terminate, or alter any operation that jeopardizes the safety of personnel. The liaison officer is the point of contact for other responding agencies and technical representatives assigned to an incident. For example, the liaison officer works with the Red Cross representatives or Environment Protection representative. The liaison officer is appointed when several agencies send a plan or plan to send agency representatives to an incident. The incident commander can no longer provide for individual coordination with agency. Appears that two or more jurisdictions may be involved in the incident, and the incident require on-site liaison. And then usually when there is a fire situation, there is the general staff. The incident commander may appoint the general staff as the incident becomes more, so that he or she does not exceed the manageable span of control. The general staff is divided into 4 sections. There are the planning section. This section is headed by a planning section chief. The functions of the section involve collecting, evaluating, disseminating information about the incident and the resources about the incident action plan, which defines the response objectives, activities, and resources used for specified time, e.g. operational period. And then also we have the operational section. This section carries out the response activities described in the incident action plan. Remember, there must be an incident action plan at every facility. And this incident action plan defines all the responsibilities of all those people involved in a fire emergency if it occurs. It is through this section that resources are directed and coordinated to meet the operational objectives for the operational period. And then there is the logistics section. It provides facilities, services, and materials for the incident, including essential personnel. It is critically important during the long-term operations. And then there is the facilities administrative section. This section tracks the incident costs and maintains a record for possible reimbursement. It activates agreements, contracts where there is potential liability for the incident or the incident is of the magnitude to be declared a national emergency disaster. So this is generally how it looks. The command staff, the incident commander, the information officer, the safety officer, the liaison officer. This is how the diagram or the figure looks in the incident management plan. So you should have a kind of a drawing in the incident management plan that shows who reports to who and then defines their responsibilities. And then the general staff, you'll see how also this is created and how responsibilities are divided and how people are developed and trained to understand their role in the event of a fire situation. And then business management techniques application in the incident command system. Tasks that business managers and leaders perform, including gathering and evaluating information relative to pre-planning and size-up, as well communication and development plans. The incident commander directs available resources to accomplish incident goals through operational and command responsibilities. The incident commander must develop tactical skills, support functions, command and coordination of overall operations and command. The incident commander must be able to communicate effectively with the organization and assess feedback from all the incidents. The term used must be clearly understood by all to effectively manage an incident. He must be able to gather resources functionally and geographically. The overall effectiveness of the incident action plan must be evaluated based on the previous operational decisions and modified if necessary. The incident commander discharges his responsibilities functions as required by the incident. Remember, all incidents are different. They never occur in the same way. So the incident commander must be a very sharp person who can come up with ideas and strategies instantly as things are happening. Because remember, when these things are happening during emergencies, life is at stake, property destruction is at stake. So there isn't any time to sit down and discuss things. It is to move with speed and do what is supposed to be done. But to be effective, this plan must be exercised. This plan, people must be trained. People must be informed of their responsibilities. Drills must be conducted so that the plan is effective. Don't wait until there is an emergency and then you start now preparing an emergency action plan. Summary. The security officer or personnel assume the incident command but relinquishes the position when in most cases the incident is of such magnitude to involve law enforcement officers or the local authority. Therefore, transfer of command should be made public to all responding agencies. And during this transfer of command, a review questions must be done. Outline the incident command staffs, state the responsibilities of an incident commander section, describe the functions of the logistics section, discuss the interface between planning section and the operations section. Components of an incident management system. The incident management system builds from the ground up and is the basic operating system for all incidents within each facility or agency. The transition from a small-scale incident to large or multi-agency operations requires minimal adjustments for any of the agencies involved. By design, the incident management system can grow from a small-scale incident to a large-scale incident depending on the needs of the incident. So remember, depending on the needs of the incident, things may change or the structure of the command system may be different. And then to understand the application of the incident management system in the industrial setting, industrial fire brigade members should be aware of the major operational position descriptions within the incident management system. The incident management system has the following 5 major operational positions. So we have spoken about this: command, operations, planning, logistics, finance, stroke administration. Note, the incident commander has the responsibility for these functions unless and until or she delegates them. I hope you know acts of delegation. Incident management system combines command strategy with organizational procedures. While it is designed to be used primarily for the incidences, much of the organizational design is applicable to other types of emergency incidents without industrial facilities. The other types of emergencies may include hazardous material incident, confined space incidents, trench rescues, or specialized rescue missions. Regardless of the incident, incident management system is the management tool of choice. And then for industrial emergencies, the concept of unified command is important to understand. Unified command is established when several individuals, by virtue of legal or jurisdictional authority, share the same responsibilities of command and incident management. Unified command is usually required in a single jurisdiction when more than one organization or agency shares management responsibilities due to the nature of the incident. An example is when the local fire and emergency services organizations respond to an incident at an industrial facility. The incident management system provides a functional systematic command system. It is designed for single agency or multi-agency use, and it increases the effectiveness of command and personnel safety. Operations. The operations. The operations section chief reports directly to the incident command and is responsible for the direct management of all operations that directly affect the primary mission of eliminating the problem. The function of the operations section chief is to direct the tactical operations to meet the strategic goals developed by incident commander. The operations section may be subdivided into many branches as needed. Remember, what we are talking about is just a guide into how fire emergencies are managed by specialized teams or specialized firefighters teams. So what we are talking about is a guide on how these things are done, that there must be an operations section, that there must be one person who is in charge, directly in charge of the situation. There must be a person who communicates, information officer who communicates with the media and third parties. There must be a safety officer who ensures that people are safe and even the responding personnel are safe. And then there's also the planning. Planning is also responsible for maintaining the status of all resources assigned to the incident. Command will use the information compiled by the planning section to develop strategic goals and contingency plans. Remember, as we said earlier from the beginning when we were discussing fire safety management measures, plan these things in advance. Do not wait until a situation arises and then you start planning. Plan these things in advance and exercise, conduct drills, and get people ready to respond to a situation. And then specific units under planning include logistics, the support branch, and the service branch. These are people that, like, for example, the support branch deals with the medical, communications, food services. The service branch deals with supplies, facilities, ground support, vehicle services, etc. This is how it is structured. And then also the finance and administration. The finance to administration section has the responsibility for tracking and documenting all costs and financial aspects of the incident. Generally, the finance to administration section is activated only on large-scale, long-term incidents. Mutual aid responses are usually considered reciprocal and do not require interagency reimbursement. And then communications is also very important. Face-to-face communication, radio communication. Separate channels may be needed for command, tactical, and support functions. Codes, abbreviations, and acronyms should not be used because they may not be universally understood. Any misunderstanding can add up to the confusion. So you have to make sure that even at your level, at your facility, there are communication systems. There are communication systems. When there was a tsunami in the year 2004 in the Republic of Maldives, all the way from Indonesia. It hit even the Kenyan coast. Major problems occurred in rescue because of cut-off in communication. Until now, the governments of the region, in that region, they had to come up with a system of satellite communication, that even if we encounter another tsunami and all communication systems are switched off or are eroded or are damaged, then we can still reach people for help in the outside world using satellite phones. So when we were working at the Republic of Maldives, we had 3 satellite phones, one with the general manager, one with the security director, and the other one, it was with the recreation director, the one who deals with water-based activities. So that if there is an incident, then these 3 people, at least one of them, may be able to reach out for help through the satellite phone. So for your level, make sure that you have communication systems at your area or your facility. The other things are things that we know. Local protocols dictate how messages are phrased, but in incident management system, everyone should be called by the incident management system position they occupy. So all this is detailed in the incident emergency plan, in the action plan for responding to an incident. Remember, some organizations call them action plans, some of the organizations call them incident action plans, some of them will call them responding plans. Whatever name you use, it is a plan that directs the procedures and informs people on what is expected of them if an emergency occurs. And then implementing of the system, you have information that you need. You have to know what has occurred, what is the current status of the emergency, is anyone injured or trapped, can the emergency be handled with the resources on scene, or do we need more from external parties? Does the emergency fall within the scope of the training received? So this is some of the areas to consider. And then also transfer of command. If you are at a particular facility and then the fire brigade or government authorities arrive, there is always one person also who is in command of that team. So you have to transfer the command to that person by giving a brief on what is happening, what is going on, and what actions are being taken. And then as the incident grows larger, command may be transferred several times before the incident is brought under control. A smooth and efficient transfer of command can contribute greatly to the bringing the incident to a timely and successful conclusion. The person relinquishing command must provide the person assuming command with a situation status report, that is an updated version of the incident evaluation done on arrival. And then also the situation status report should include the following information: a description of what happened, whether anyone was injured or trapped, what has been done so far, whether the power problem has stabilized or is getting worse, what resources are on scene or en route and their assignments, whether it appears that current resources are adequate for the situation or that more resources need to be called in. And then an example of a complete situation status report might be the following: a fire is burning in a dumpster inside the warehouse of the northeast corner. No one is hurt, and the fire appears to be confined to the dumpster, but it is close to the wall and the smoke is heavy. When I sounded the alarm, I ordered everyone out of the building and I called the fire department. Please learn how to write reports. Learn how to write reports after an incident. An incident has occurred, learn how to write reports. If you are surprised, you will find that many security managers, many supervisors, many security officers cannot compile incident reports. Report writing is one area that is very important to your career. Whether you are in security, whether you are in trade, whether you are in transport, report writing and submission of reports is one of the most critical areas. You have to develop your skills on how to compile effective reports that will stand the test of time. Sometimes you write reports, it is very embarrassing when you write a report, you send it to a general manager or your operations director, and the report is sent back for lack of credibility or for lack of detailed information or for lack of scope that you don't know what you are talking about. It becomes very embarrassing. Your reports should stand the test of time. That if you send the report, the management will act on the report as it is without further requests for clarifications. So learn how to write effective reports after every incident. And then terminating the incident. Also, once the incident has been brought under control and the size and the complexity of the situation diminishes, the resources that are no longer needed should be released from the incident. This release is especially important when mutual aid units have been called in, perhaps from considerable distances. Having an incident management system in place will greatly assist in demobilizing in a methodical and efficient manner. Adhering to formal demobilization plan helps to recover loaned equipment such as portable radios and in identifying and documenting any damaged or lost equipment. We have come to the end of this lesson. What I wanted to do here, I wanted just to introduce to you what happens when we have an incident. That there should be one person who is in command, and there are other people who are also part of the responding teams. So at your facility, you have to ask yourself, do we have an incident action plan? Do we have a plan specifically for fire? If a fire occurs, who is responsible for communicating with the local authorities? Who is responsible for calling law enforcement? And who is responsible for responding to the fire? And who is responsible for evacuating people? And who is responsible for conducting hard head count? Until the local authorities arrive, until command is transferred to the leader of the local authority, who is in charge, who is in control of the situation. It is very important for you to do this, and then to train your people, and then to conduct drills, and then to make sure that people are ready to face an emergency should it occur. With those few remarks, I will stop there, and then we will immediately go to the second part of this lesson today, which is the final lesson, and then we will prepare for the exam. We are shortly going to talk about aftermath of a fire. We are going to talk about recovery and some of the issues to consider when you are talking about recovering from a fire incident and continuing in business. Thank you.